look at tennis, everyone is under 25. We're younger, we're quicker. I think that's where the sport is going, and I think that's where the sport should be.
Every sport has icons, superstars, up and coming phenoms, future titans of the game, and incredibly unique and engaging personalities. Today I'm here with someone who checks all five of those boxes.
Oh, Redwire speeds it up. Gabe Tardio. How'd he find that angle? Big play from Tardio. Tardio running the show.
Those following or living in the pro pickleball world are seeing things change so rapidly, from events to the pros, allowing us to really look back at this incredible evolution over just the past few years. My guest today is someone I met 3 years ago at an APP Next Gen event, a tournament for players 23 and under, who came in and absolutely tore everyone apart. He was first introduced to the sport by his grandfather at 14 in Bolivia, where they not only bonded over the sport, but built 2 courts in their home country. In 2019, he moved to Florida to further his tennis career, but due to COVID and the closing of many tennis academies, that journey pivoted towards pickleball. My guest today is Gabe Tardio, a top 7 men's doubles player in the world, and currently one of the biggest names in pro pickleball. Gabe, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So everyone has a different story of how they first found the sport of pickleball. Some are interesting, some are a little bit more standard, but most people who got into the sport didn't start off by building 2 courts in their home country as a 14-year-old. So I'd love to hear about your journey into the sport, from being a tennis player to finding pickleball, and then what you and your grandfather did.
Yeah, well, I wasn't the one who actually built it, but yeah, yeah. I mean, thankfully, I always had a really close family growing up, and my grandfather was very successful, so made my life and my life of my whole family easier. So yeah, thankfully for him, he was able to, you know, he was the one who paid for my tennis academy, and he's the one who really got me into sports. And yeah, so it was pretty random. Like I was still living in Bolivia. I was around 13, 14 years old. Um, and then he decided to just out of nowhere build a pickleball court. And like I said, we were a very close family. So once a month we would go to his vacation houses that he had in Bolivia, and that's where he built the court. And you know all my 16 cousins that I have, we would go there, and we would go in the pool, play some pickleball, play some volleyball, and yeah, that's where my first time that I ever played pickleball. And then when I moved to the States, um, like you said, the tennis academy shut down. So yeah, I started playing pickleball because I remember playing there in Bolivia, and then also where my grandparents live, and in their community, they have pickleball courts. So it was kind of like the only thing that I had to do other than being in my phone. So yeah, I think it all worked out.
How long did it take after you started playing to realize, like, I really like this? This is something I actually want to take more seriously.
Yeah, so I think actually I don't think I've ever like I just started taking seriously since the tour wars. I think that's part of my success as well. It's because I never really took it that seriously. I think it was something that I was getting you know money from. Like I was winning some money balls. I was getting $500 and stuff like that, and it was something that I just enjoyed doing, but I never really took it seriously until year and a half or 2 years ago.
Yeah. It's crazy how quickly you've risen up to the top. So many young players, you and Juan Dong and Hayden Patrick, and you guys are really just taking the pickleball world by storm. While there's still other top pros up there with you guys, but now forced to share that spotlight with you. Do you feel like younger players being at the top of pro pickleball is really what we should expect for the future of the sport?
I mean, I would think so. You can look at tennis. Everyone is under in the top, other than Novak. It's really under I don't know, 27, 25. I think just young players like me have a lot of facility. Like we're younger, we're quicker and stuff like that. Um, but I mean, yeah, I think that's where the sport is going, and I think that's where the sport should be.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And as a player right now, like you're young but with so much potential. There are still so many new players coming into the sport every year. There's going to be top players in the world whose names we haven't heard of, who haven't even been born yet. What's your strategy, whether it's mindset, training, or just longer term vision for, you're so young, you want to stay at the sport, at the top of the sport and continue to grow long term. What's the vision for how you can stay at the top of the sport during the storm of rapid new players coming in the game every year?
Yeah, it's really impressive the amount of young players we have in PPAs and APPs. Like I remember back in the day, it was just me, Hayden, and Wyatt. You know, we were kind of like the only ones who played really pickleball, not only pro pickleball, but just young players overall. You know, so it's really impressive how like now like I remember Cape Coral, you would see the 20 courts. It was all kids, playing juniors or whatever. Um, so yeah, I mean that's good and bad, right? Because I mean for me, because now it's gonna be I know like in 2, 3, 4 years the competition is gonna be twice as tough. They're gonna be younger. They're gonna be younger than me. They're gonna be playing the sport longer, you know, um, and stuff like that. So I think for me, it's just important to like keep trying to be as aggressive as I can. I think the sport is going that way. So I think I mean just a lot of training. I'm starting to go to the gym to get stronger, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's my day to day, what my day to day training looked like, and yeah, just really watching a lot of pickleball and adapting to any new stuff or any new shots that might be good for the game.
Yeah. In terms of your training strategy, like I got two questions. Like one, what's your ratio of drilling to playing? And then two, talk about hitting the gym more. What types of like muscles or exercises are you like working on to grow as a pro pickleball player? It's such a new sport. There aren't as many built out, fully nationally sort of agreed upon, like this is how pickleball players should be training. But so the ratio drilling to playing, and then like how are you conducting your workouts in the gym to maximize your growth?
Yeah, so I think lately I've been drilling a lot. Um, because Ben moved over. Um, so I have a really good drilling partner, for every day. And then also my brother Matthias is starting to take it super seriously. So he every day he tells me to drill. So I think I've been drilling a lot lately. More than playing. I think the ratio would be like 70-30. Um, so yeah, just definitely more drilling than playing, and then going to the gym. I do like basic stuff. Like I do chest and triceps and back and biceps on one day, and kind of like just everything, legs, stuff like that. But I don't do much of the what is it like physical trainer training. Like I don't run and stuff like that. It's just more to try to get stronger.
Right, right. No, that makes sense. Um, so there's two sort of more fun side questions before we get back into the more serious stuff. You've talked about pizza being the perfect food. I'm a big fan as well, but I wanted to get some more clarity. Are we talking about like thin or thick crust, like toppings? Like the world wants to know. Like what specifically do you love so much about this food?
I mean, I think it's something easy to make and it's hard to miss. Like if you go anywhere, there's gonna be good pizza. I don't think I've eaten bad pizza. Um, but I think what I like, I'm pretty basic. I just like cheese, pretty much cheese and pizza. I mean, I like I think probably my favorite pizza would be Papa John's, and I do the the thin crust with ham and cheese. Um, that's my favorite.
All right, we got to get you a Papa John's sponsorship. We'll try and find.
Yeah,
And then I know you played a PPA tournament in Australia not too long ago. I heard you were a big fan of that trip, and you know it's a beautiful place. I've never been, but I was curious, like what'd you love so much about Australia? What were your favorite parts of being there?
yeah. I mean, I think for me it was. I mean, it's an awesome country. First of all, right? There were just so much stuff to do. Like the city was amazing. Everything was you know up to date. Like you would have robots, in the store, stuff like that. It was very what's the word? Futuristic.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think it's just like it's just a really lovely city. Like there's just a lot of stuff to do. Like I remember we went um we did like a little boat trip. We went to like a sky deck and it's just I don't know. I don't know. It's just everyone's very friendly and you know I don't really know what I liked so much about it, but it was just great.
yeah. No, it's a beautiful place. You know, beautiful people and just a good environment. Yeah. Anyway, I want to go back to some more serious stuff. You know, you're playing a lot of tournaments now with, greatest player of all time, Ben Johns. And you got the text earlier this year asking a partner. So I'm just curious, do you remember when you first got that text? And then if so, like what was your first thought?
Yeah, yeah, I remember. It's funny. I think everything um, important that happened in my career, it was around December, and I remember I was at the sauna, just chilling with my cousins, and I got the text. I was back in Bolivia. Um, yeah, and yeah, I was just in shock because I thought, him and his brother, even though they were not winning every single tournament, they still won like 50% of the tournament. So I did not think um it was gonna happen, especially like three brothers. So I think it wasn't in my mind. So I was very surprised, and yeah. So at the moment I was a little in shock.
Yeah. What's sort of do you guys have sort of like some consistent arrangement of like how many tournaments you're playing together, or are you taking it as it goes, or what's sort of the vision for like how this partnership's going to evolve?
Yeah. So I think so far we have pretty much everything going forward, except for like I think he's gonna miss out. I think two or three tournaments, and that's about it. I don't he has to let me know still about two of those tournaments if he's gonna play or not. But pretty much, yeah, pretty much everything going forward.
Do you feel a different level of pressure to be at the top of your game than you've had playing with other partners? How has it been mentally, emotionally having this new role and playing with Ben?
Yeah, so definitely the first tournament really got to me. I was pretty nervous. Like I said in another interview, I think I was not playing my game. I was playing like not to miss, basically. So I was not being aggressive. I was just kind of like playing safe. But then after that, we lost in the finals. I realized that that's not, the way to view it. I got to be myself, and he chose me for a reason, and I use all my strengths to the court. So I think going forward is I'm just gonna play my game, and if I miss, I miss, but I'll go for it. And I think that really helped me going into Texas. I think I was a little more myself. I was a little more aggressive, and that really made a difference.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I know that was probably something that Ben wanted, and this new evolution in a partnership is having someone super aggressive on that right side. And you've played a lot of tournaments on the left. I mean, the majority of humans in the world you could play pickleball with, you're going to be on the left side, being the more dominant player. But I'm curious what adjustments you've made to your game to help turn into the best right side player you could be.
Yeah, I think I think one of the reasons me switching from the to the right, it's got because I understood that there were a lot of people coming into the sport, and and every single one wants to play left, right? And then other than Colin, Matt, right at the time, there was no one who would actually say like I'm a right side specialist, right? So me knowing that, me realizing that it was like, oh, I could if I train on the right and you're really good, there's more people that are gonna need a right side guy, right? Like if I got really good on the left, I would still need a good right side guy to make a good, team. I felt like that's what everyone needed it. So oh yeah, I don't know. I just realized that and I started to practice a lot on the right side. Then also I think, playing the right side it's much easier. You got less core to cover, and then there's less spots to get attacked from. And then I always liked my forehand. So I think yeah, using and being on the right side makes you use the your forehand quite a bit. So I think it was perfect. That's when I realized I'm made I'm made for the right side. If I get good, or people are gonna good left side players are gonna want me, and it's just gonna be a lot easier overall. And that's exactly what happened. And I remember like before making the switch, I would my partners they were good, but I remember like I had no idea I would be able to be playing with Andre and J Dub and all those guys and start in such like little time. Um, so yeah, that was the thinking behind it.
Yeah. For anybody that's starting to play on the right or is trying to figure out how to be a good right side partner, what would you tell them, whether it's strategically, technically, or drilling wise, just to help give some advice for anybody that wants to turn into or become a better right side player?
Yeah, I think if if you're trying to like start playing on the right side, I think you know you gotta be creative with it. You gotta make sure you're using a lot of spin. Because I think the whole thing, like back in the day, the right side was the setup guy, right? I think now, if you want to play the right side, you got to learn how to be the aggressor, right? So I think just you know be creative in the court, try to bunch of stuff. You know, like me, I think I lose 70% of the rec back in the day, and because I would speed up the first ball I had, I would speed it up. And sometimes it was not the smartest thing, but that's where I learned, and I kind of like yeah, that's where I learned, and I kind of like mastered the ride because I would speed up so much and I would fail so much that now I knew what spots were good, where to attack, where do they attack me, and stuff like that. So just I think yeah, just be creative, speed up every single ball you can, and then watch a lot of film. I think that that's also a big thing for me. I watch, dude. If I show you my YouTube history, it's insane how many pickleball I watch. Probably like an hour a day, if not more. Um, but yeah, that's really helped me in my game, and I understand more. You know, I'm smarter in the court for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, so I wanted to ask about you have a partnership with your paddle company. Pickle. I hope I'm not butchering the name. We haven't worked with them or anything, but I wanted to shed some light on it because I think it's really interesting. There's probably a variety of paddle companies, all the big boys out there that would have loved to, swoop you up, but you went with an international company, a little bit less known. So I was just curious, what made you excited to work with them? Why'd you choose to work with them over other bigger brands?
Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna be completely honest. They were the only ones who really saw a future in me back in the day. They got me when I had no wins. They got me like 2 years ago. I haven't done anything, and they saw my potential, and and obviously they're great guys. I got to know them pretty well. Um, and I do think the paddle is amazing. Like it might not have the best power in the world. It might not have the best technology, but I do think it's has a ton of grit, and it has just about everything that any other paddle has. So I think it's just a combination of kind of being loyal to them, and it's just a good paddle.
Yeah, no, 100%. Um, so I wanted to ask about, being a pro player, the pro world, how things have gone. A lot of pro athletes, they strive to, make it. They want to get to this top tier level of their sport, playing with the best players, going deep in their leagues or tournaments or seasons, and becoming one of the best players in the world at their sport. You've definitely gotten to that point. But I'm curious, what were your initial goals in pro pickleball? And now that you've gotten to where you are, how have those goals evolved as you've risen up the ranks?
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, I think the reason of my success, and it's probably not gonna work for everyone, right? But I did not put pressure on me. Like I just literally did it for the money. Like I thought, oh, I could, the first 2 years that I played, it was just, man, people are telling me I'm really good at the sport, and I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm not gonna put pressure on me, and I'm just gonna, practice, try to get better. And yeah, I think kind of like I think everything just worked out, to be honest. I just didn't really think about going far. I just thought about getting better. Yeah, and it all just worked out. And then once I got my first contract, I was like, oh damn, okay.
Yeah.
Now I really have to put some goals, make some goals, and take it. Still trying to, don't think about everything else, try to get better. But at the same time, I need to, you know, start to take it more seriously, and stuff like that. So I would say that I think my goals this year, I think I think one of my goals this year is actually play more on the left, because now I mastered the right side, and I do think it takes more skill, more. You need to be like, you need to take more court. It takes more responsibility, and it's just harder to play on left. So I want to, be really good at both sides. Get a little more better results in mix. Um, None other than that, I think, just winning as many goals as I can with men. Pretty
Yeah,
much, that's pretty much it.
100%.
Hopefully crack the top five
Oh
pretty
yeah,
soon.
it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, I've been in the top 10 for I think a year now. So I think it's time to move to top five. And hopefully one day, if everything goes right, hopefully number one.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, no, I think you're definitely on the way there. And I want to go back to talk about your goals, but you had said something earlier, like a minute ago, which was awesome. You talked about, said, I never thought about going far. I just wanted to get better. That's like a Buddha quote. Like that needs to be framed. Like that's speaks to, I think, how players, pro athletes and rising athletes should be approaching their game. We train a lot of players, 3, 5, 4 plus players. They get really in their heads about their duper, their tournament results. And what I tell players is like, if you think you're growing quickly and going to be in a much different place a year from now than you are today, forget about duper, forget about the wins and losses, disconnect with the outcome and focus on the present. And it seems like that's what you've done, and that's what's helped you get to the level you're at. Can you talk about the importance, especially for the younger players out there, of just focusing on the moment and disconnecting with all the other BS out there?
Yeah, I think, yeah, like you said, I think that was a changing point in my career. You don't like, here's the thing. Like I said, I think my brother's starting to play, and he's trying to make it pro, obviously. And I told him all the time, like, he gets so mad if he doesn't win 4 or 5 tournament, or if his stupor is not a 5-0, and if you know he lost to like some guy that he shouldn't lost. And I tell him all the time, don't don't worry about winning and losing. Don't worry about making the qualifying. Don't worry about all that. Just all your focus has to go on working the trying your best and just getting better. Just get better. Don't worry about winning 4-5. Don't worry about winning 5-0. Don't worry about all that stuff. Just worry about getting better every day. Be consistent, and you won't even realize you're gonna get there.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we tell our players. And then just to kind of fast forward again, following up on like you're talking about, the goals and rising up, and obviously, while the goal generally is to live in the moment. Now you're at this point where you can have these goals and you can have these greater aspirations. You're on this quick upwards trajectory, already super high, but getting up, more and more up there every month. So what do you think needs to happen to reach that goal of number one in the world? Like what's your vision for your career long term? How do you want to get there? What do you think needs to be done to reach that overall goal?
I mean, I think to get to number one, I obviously have to play a lot of tournaments, right? Be consistent. Um, yeah, I think the thing about me, I don't think about much. I just focus on me and I play, and if I do well, good. If I'm top 20, I don't care as long as I'm working. But yeah, I'm not sure, man. Like I don't know. I don't really think about stuff, you know. And I obviously would love to be number one. I obviously would love to crack number top five and stuff like that. But to be honest, I don't think about any of that. I never check rankings. I never worry about that stuff. I don't worry who's ahead of me, who's behind me. I just play and try my best and hope for the best.
Yeah. No, I think that's the best way to go, and especially someone that I'm sure you're becoming a bit of a role model for a lot of young players out there. I think that's the mindset that is ideal to instill upon them. So I think it's great that that's the way you approach the game, and that's the way hopefully you'll inspire others to do the same. Um, I'm curious, sort of a basic question, but like, what are the highs and lows of being a pro pickleball player? What's your favorite part about this life, this journey, and then what do you dislike the most?
So I think I'm starting to see a lot of people getting burnt out, and I'm including myself in this. So you gotta make sure you're enjoying the tournaments, right? I think, you know, I would say like 6 months from now, I was a little burnt out. You know, I kind of had no goals. I was like, dude, I'm winning. I don't know, like, what was the next thing? Um, Should I forgot what I was gonna say?
It's all good. You're winning and winning.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I was winning and I was a little burnt out because I didn't know what was next. So I think really enjoying um tournaments, it was really what kind of got me excited again and wanted to play better and train and stuff like that. So I would say just make sure it's not all just training, tournaments and results and stuff like that. You know, I think I started, go out a little more, hang out, go to dinner with my friends and stuff like that, and really enjoying the tournaments. It's what, I think helped me a lot because now I don't see it as okay, that's my job. It's like,
right.
it's more relaxed.
Right. Yeah. No, enjoy life. Go back out to Bolivia, go out, hit the club, like,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
national.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you're basically I'm doing what I love, right? I'm doing it and I'm having fun with it and I'm getting paid. So there's just nothing
Yeah.
better than that. Before it was just, pretty much like a job. Now I don't see it like that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Is there something about the pro pickleball lifestyle that you absolutely didn't expect that you were just really surprised by?
Uh, I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't think my lifestyle changed much. A few people recognize me here and there, but other than that, like I'm still living with my parents. I'm still training every day. Yeah, I don't think my life changed much, other than obviously being a little better financially. I don't, if I'm hungry and I want to go to Cane's, I'll get a Cane's. Before I was like, I already got food in my house. Why spend the 20 bucks, 15, whatever. Now I can basically just do what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, not have to think about it. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
when you signed that 3-year contract extension with PPA and MLP end of next year or the end of last year, that moment where like, it was finalized, check hit the bank account. What was the first thing you bought?
I don't buy anything.
Nothing.
No, anything. I think my last big purchase was this car, and that was like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. I don't really like. I'm not a show off. I don't think I ever bought like some new shoes that I like that are more than 100 bucks. I'll kind of like just wear whatever. I don't care about if it's a good brand or like if it's Gucci or anything. I don't care about that stuff, and I don't see it as a necessity. So I don't think I bought anything.
Yeah, just invest.
All my money goes to food, pretty much. Like that's all I buy. I don't buy anything else.
Pop some like Papa John stock then if you're giving them all that bread. But
Yeah, yeah.
a question that I got about international players and like the whole international scene. You're from Bolivia. I think over the last few years, it's looked like, America is really it's the only place where high level pro pickleball is being played and all the players are here. But now there's so many international players. There are different countries out there, India, China, and different Latin American countries that are investing a lot into the sport. I'm curious your thoughts on the future of pro pickleball. Do you still see US being by far the dominant place for pro players to come play, or do you think there's going to be really significant leagues and tours in other countries that start to dilute what America has right now with in terms of the pro pickleball dominance?
Yeah, no, I still think America is gonna be kind of like pretty top for the next 10 years. Um, and then obviously the level is gonna be a little more equal, but I think it's just you can look at it with soccer, football, however you want to call it, like in England and or padel, right? Spain and Argentina are by far the the best players from, and that's because they train with the best. That's where like it was originated. So it's gonna take a while for people from Australia or China or Bolivia or doesn't matter where to catch up, because I feel like the way I got better, it was from playing with better players. And if you don't have that, it's gonna be a little rough because you don't know like all my game is based off different people's shots, right? So if I'm the best player in Bolivia or whatever I'm from, and there's no one who's better than me, I'm not gonna learn new stuff, you know. So I think, yeah, going back to your answer, I think America's gonna be
Yeah,
still best for quite a bit of time.
right. Well, once we get this sport in the Olympics, though, you'll at least be able to go back and represent Bolivia there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that's happening anytime soon, though.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
10
see.
years probably.
Hopefully sooner, but yeah, you might be right.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I have like two questions about like the technical aspects of your game, you grip the paddle a little bit higher up on the handle than most players on certain shots. And this could be for a little bit more stability or control, or maybe to hit some trick shots, auxiliary shots. So like if you're comfortable sharing, like which shots you do this on and why.
I choke my paddle up at all times. That's how I hit my backhand. That's how I hit my forehand. So it's not that I choke up on certain shots. I just think it's better, to be honest. I think choking up makes your paddle feel lighter, makes your acceleration be more, makes you be able to put more spin on the ball. So I think it's just overall better. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm actually pretty impressed. A lot of people are not choking up because it's not like tennis where reach is really important and it's a big racket. This is a small racket. You choking up a little bit is not gonna really make the difference. And the amount of stuff that it helps you with, it's a lot.
Yeah. No, and I think like part of the beauty of the sport is right now there's so many different ways players can be successful. It's kind of like we're still all uncovering the best ways to play, and it still seems like there's just a lot of different, routes for sort of how to build the perfect game. And that's part of the advantage, pro players have is they could be different, and they can have
Yeah,
their style.
yeah. And then I feel like if you're playing the right, especially, you should be choking up just because the amount of spin that you can put on choking up, it's a lot more than grabbing your paddle normally. And if you're going to be a right side guy, like I said, you need to be creative, you need to be aggressive, and it's a small court, so every shot you're hitting has to have a lot of spin.
Right. So from getting more spin from choking up, is that because you're able to control the head of the paddle better? Because some might look at it and say, well, if I can hold it lower down, I have more room for wrist mobility to be able to whip it.
Yes. So choke, you're still able to whip it. I don't choke up my paddle. I don't grab my paddle in the neck. You know, I just choke up a little before that, so I'm still able to whip it. And like I think what really makes me able to get more spin on it, it's because the paddle feels lighter. You could move the paddle quicker, so it gives you faster hands, and then you could like do the this faster.
Right. Right.
Um, but yeah, I don't think it takes away the whip.
Makes sense.
I don't choke that much.
Yeah, no, no, I got you. And then I want to ask about your slice return because you use the slice return, I would say, more than other pros, or a lot of pros are moving to be super aggressive with topspin, forehand or backhand returns. I personally love the slice as well still. And it's easier to have access to really aggressive serves moving out wide. And while you're on the move, slice is a really stable way to return the ball. I think one thing you do really well is you're really athletic, so you get your body into the ball, and so you're able to like generate a lot of pace on your slices. But I was just curious, is like your approach as to why you rely heavier, a little bit heavier than other pros on that slice return.
Yeah, it's a consistency thing for me. I think me slicing the ball, I'm able to hit a deep 9 out of 10 balls. I think if I would grab my paddle normally, I would struggle with precision. I think I choke up and I slice. So it's kind of like a consistency thing for me. And then also, I think for singles especially, it's really important to be able to establish your feet at the net, and you slicing the ball gives you that little extra second or two to kind of like be established at the net. Um, I would say those are my two main reasons why I do it, and for me, I that's how I started doing since the first time I played. Kind of like it was just natural. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
it's just yeah, I feel like I have more control. I could put it what I want it, and it gives me that extra time that I need.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And then just like couple last questions. I mean, just one simple one, but I was curious if you weren't playing pro pickleball right now, what do you think you'd be doing?
Dude, I mean, I would be in college like everyone else. I don't know,
True.
working at some restaurant or I don't know. This was really a lifesaver for me because I was always like really bad in school. Um, I never had any passion, towards anything really. You know, if you would ask me what would you be like, what career would you be doing, I would not be able to tell you. Just anything
Mhm.
really. I don't know. I don't think about anything. My whole life I've been really into sports, so maybe like sports psychology or something like that. But it's rough. I don't really. I was worried about that part because I had no idea what I was gonna do because nothing really excited me, and yeah, I didn't have a passion for anything really.
I mean, it's a good thing that things usually just naturally evolve the way they're supposed to, and you kind of just you found this passion and this career, and it evolved the way it was supposed to. So it's awesome that
Yeah,
that's how it happened.
yeah.
And I just wanted to see, was there anything that you wanted to shout out, anything like you're working on off the court in terms of like everybody, a lot of pros have different ventures, doing clinics, coaching platforms, anything like that you're working on right now that you want to share with the community?
Not really. I mean, I'm doing a clinic next week. But I think the it's already closed. But I don't really do much clinics. It's kind of hard to have, it's kind of hard to practice and do clinics and play tournaments at the same time. So I don't really do much. The only thing I could promote is, go follow me on Instagram if, I post a lot of stuff, me playing and points and stuff like that. And then it's not really a shout out, but if you're watching this, the kind of like the a tip I would give you, it's watch a lot of YouTube. That's where I think where my game went to the next level. I kind of like understood what to do on the court and what patterns were good and what shots were tough on certain people and stuff like that. So I think it just made me a smarter player, and that's really important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we'll tag your socials in the video description too, so people could check that out. And then the last thing I asked to pretty much everybody I interview, basic question, but take it in whatever direction you want. Why do you love pickleball?
Well, I think it's I love it for a lot of reasons. I think it's a sport where it's kind of like chess, right? You can't do like power is not going to solve everything, right? So you need to be smart about it. You need to have a game plan and you actually need to think, right? Where do you want to put the ball and just not play like whatever. So I think it's I think that's probably the first reason why I love it the most. Just because like it's something that makes you think and it's not just hit it hard and whatever. Second of all, I think it's because it's really fast. Like I could never, play golf. It's just like a swing and then you walk
I can't do
15 minutes. Just doesn't make sense for me. Um, yeah, I think it's a combination of with patience and a lot of fast stuff. So I think those are the two reasons why I love it.
Absolutely. Well, hey man, thanks for coming on. This was awesome. And we're gonna keep watching you rise up and up. And I know you got a really bright future ahead of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.